We're fortunate that tonight's testimonial speaker has agreed to share his firsthand experiences. Steve Niles has been through a lot in his life, and Ability Solutions Vetability Program helped him get back on his feet during a harrowing time. Steve lives and works in Gloucester County, and he's here to let you know how much of an impact your support has made. I'd like to welcome Steve to the stage so he can share his personal story with you. Steve?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for your time and support of soldiers and individuals that are not soldiers like me. I want to thank United Way for all that has done for me. I want to thank Catholic Charities. I want to thank Ability Solutions and Vetability, while they have done so much for me. I want to let you know that the United Way was not really one of the top things that I knew about. At the age of 18, I went into the service. I signed in at 17, but they wouldn't let me in until 18. All right. I served in the service for about 10 years, and I went back and forth from Germany, Berlin, Germany, Wildflicken, and Bamberg, Germany, and everything. I served as an infantryman while I was in there, and 2.5 years later, I met my fiancée, wife, or whatever. She was German. She was half German and half American. Her father was an American soldier, her mother was German, so, you know. We had 3 boys together. While there, we were building a bond in Jesus Christ. My mother raised me all my life to be in church. Before I could go to school, they gave me a Bible with my name on it, and that really meant something to me. That was like the world to me, and I will never forget that. I will always love my mother for doing that for me, even though she passed like a few months ago, but still, that's a big thing. There's no love greater than bringing your loved one to God, and that's what she did for me. My wife and myself had this bond where God said that 2 are 1. This was the deal with me and my wife. So my wife got sick, and I had to take care of the family, going back to the hospitals and everything. So my wife passed away, and I was left alone to raise the family and everything. And when you lose somebody like that you love so much, you're in this twilight zone that you don't really know what to do. You're just walking around in a daze. And that's what I left behind in Germany. You know, my wife, and that was my feeling. This sort of set in a light depression or something like that, and that was my state. So then my mother called me and said she's getting old and she wants me back in the States. By this time, my sons were grown, they were taking care of themselves, they were doing everything they needed to do, so it was like, okay, I let them know I'm going back to the States. They seen me off, and I came back here. I had, get rid of everything, but with doctors and all these other things, you don't have too much money. So my thinking was, when I was last in the States, like 15 years ago, that's how it was. I'm used to resumes, you write, you go to the office, you do this, do that, your references. I'm used to that type of deal. I get back over here, everything's in the computer. I go to put my information, trying to get a job and everything, and then it's like, well, what's the telephone number? 030, start the area code for Berlin, Germany, because I don't have anything else. A lot of the information in the computer, it don't accept it because it's in another country. You have to have like a legal telephone number over here. That's what they was doing. So I did manage to find a class where it was teaching security. And I went through the class. I passed the class, but I didn't have enough for the background check or the fingerprints or something like that. And I couldn't get the job. I mean, because I couldn't get state certified or anything. So I had to look around. I've been doing odd jobs like construction, things of this nature, just to get money or the means and everything. So when I did come here, I was staying with this couple, but their lifestyle and my lifestyles are two different. I'm the person that basically goes toward the church lifestyle. If you're doing something wrong, I don't want to hang around because, you're going to get in trouble. That's how a lot of people get in trouble. And I was basically a mama's boy, and I hung around my mom, and I never got out there to get in trouble and everything. So, I stayed away from that. But anyway, it got to a point where I was like, you don't have a job, you have to walk around here in Deptford, and it takes miles just to get to a store or something like that, and you're walking around, and that's what I was doing. Sometimes I would forget to eat, and I'd be walking, I'm like, well, why are my legs buckling and everything? And then it's like, oh, you didn't eat today and everything. So, I was doing that. I had moved as much as I could in a storage area, but then I was sleeping on the ground. I was an infantryman, They teach you how to, basically put up a tent and your sleeping bag and these things. I did not have the money for that. All I had to do was to rely on what I was taught to try to survive. I mean, I was at the point where the rain was falling on me. And over here, I had set up a camp over here by Walmart, and the power lines came down. So I had to move that position, from that position somewhere else and find me another position because they had to work and put on the power lines again. So I had moved from there, moved to another position, and I seriously prayed, and I said, God, you said if you don't work, you don't eat. And I held the Lord to that. I had a prepaid telephone so I could have contact if I did get a job, and I had a little tablet I had brought from Germany. I would go to the library to keep it charged, and in Woodbury they have a gazebo that they use for their Christmas lights. I would use it just to keep power going so that I could keep in contact. I contacted Toys R Us from the library. And within seconds, the lady called me back and was like, oh, we want you to come in for an interview. I went in for the interview at Toys R Us and got the job. But then, I got the job and I would have to go to Walmart or places like that 24 hours a day. I was using places like that to keep shower and shave and everything so that my new job wouldn't know my situation and they could treat me as anybody else and just go on with my life. When I started working there, I think my first paycheck was $30 or something like that. And they told me I would be the bike assembler at Toys R Us and I would need to buy my tools. So I borrowed $20 to get a screwdriver and a wrench and started working there. I still was living out in a tent. And then when I'm living in a tent, you take your first paycheck or whatever you can and you buy a sleeping bag because it's getting cold and everything. And the only thing I could afford was a sleeping bag that would accept 50 degrees. So that's what I used. And the temperature was dropping and getting even colder. So I would have to start sleeping with my clothes on, even my shoes on and everything, just to survive. When the rainstorms came, that was my spot. When the snow came, that was my spot. Some of the tree limbs would fall down and everything, but I had to have faith in God. I would pray. Sometimes the temperature go down at least was 14 degrees. That's without the wind chill factor and everything. And at that time, I was walking from Toys R Us to my position, and my legs were getting numb, my hands were getting numb, and I had to go back to my tent and sleep just like that. My only thing that I could do was just pray that I would be alive and I wouldn't have to be frozen or anything like that. I did that, and I would walk to Woodbury to go to church. I would walk to Westville just to go to clean my clothes and everything. I did everything that I could to keep up myself so that people wouldn't know I was homeless. You can't be around, working in a homeless state, I tried, to keep myself up. I went to church as normal and everything. And then that's where I met Ada from Ability Solutions. She was there, and they was doing an outreach from people with disabilities. So I was there, and by her being a veteran, she's like, "Oh, are there any veterans here?" and everything. And a few veterans were there that would raise their hand. I raised my hand and everything. She's like, "Oh, can you fill out this paperwork?" So I filled out the paperwork and gave it back to her. And she looked at the paperwork and was like, "Well, where are you living?" I told her I'm an infantryman, that, I'll be all right and everything. So she started shaking her head, "No. I want you to come to my office." I went to her office that Monday, and then Ada, she started advocating for me to Catholic Charities. She's like, "Hey, this guy needs a place to live. He has a job and everything. It's just that these things are expensive and they're not paying enough wages for you to have a home or anything like that." She advocated. Randall Clark got on the phone and called somebody. Within 2 hours, they had me in a house in Glassboro, living with some other veterans and everything. And that's where I've been ever since. It's like organizations like this that I never knew existed. I was walking past this place month after month after month, never knew it was there. I never knew organizations were like that. Back in the day, like when Vietnam, they didn't care about soldiers. We were nothing. But today, a lot of people care and they start doing things for you. And they say, "Thank